Hello and welcome to Orange Juice Cast. It's me, Jaz, joined by a man who is known in Iraq as the Black One, and that's because of his soul. It's Martin.
You've got to get the punchline out, Jaz, otherwise
I've got to write these ones. I've got to write them before I say it. Can't just make it up on the spot and hope it'll be funny. Hello, Martin.
Hello, thank you. Did you? What was the reason that I was called the Black One?
You have no soul? Either that or you're covered in oil.
Yeah. Yeah, I know this is the point where I'm meant to do kind of witty back and forth banter, but you've really
written myself
tossed
into
me
a
out
hole.
of the deep end there. So
Okay, well, we are going to be talking about the year's films from 2019 as the Oscars happened as of yesterday, I believe.
Yeah,
and we have a lot to talk about. So hopefully this won't be too long of a podcast, and I'll rattle off a load of films that will be quick, easy, won't need to talk about too much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, we're going to break the podcast down a little bit by bit, so you could probably maybe do some time averages for each section. Hopefully,
sure.
We won't overrun by too long. I don't think people want to listen to me or you for 3.5 hours, aka The Irishman.
The Irishman. There we go. That's the first of many jokes about The Irishman, I'm sure. I'm hoping each of these 3 segments will be roughly 30 to 45 minutes, if, all goes well. Maybe less, I have no idea.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
I would like to go to bed.
That's,
hours.
Okay, I'll try.
A high-octane lifestyle.
I'll read out just a list of films that I'm sure neither of us have seen. If you've seen one of these, stop me. We can go through it. Okay, so Bombshell.
Nope.
Klaus.
That's the Christmassy one?
The Netflix one, which is meant to be quite good.
Yeah, I thought it would win.
Yeah, I did too, but then, it's Pixar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Men in Black.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that came out. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought when I looked through the list.
There's not been one for 10 years, Jaz. Yeah.
The Lion King.
I haven't seen that, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
I didn't want to like it.
No.
Which is, as a movie reviewer guy, you should never really go into a film not wanting to like it, but...
I think there are, like, Lion King and Aladdin are kind of, and Dumbo, like, films you can go in and think, okay, this is... I'm not going to like this just purely because of why they made it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I suppose you can like something.
You never know. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen it. It could have done something completely different that revolutionised it for me, but...
I think we would have heard about that.
Yeah, yeah, instead of the really stupid Pumbaa. Jumanji, Zombieland 2, Last Christmas. Haven't seen any of those.
No.
I haven't seen Midsummer, which I really wanted to see.
It's one of the first you've listed that I actually actively will watch in the near future.
Yes, I also will. I quite liked Hereditary.
Yes, it's great.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of people say it's quite good, so... It Chapter 2, I couldn't give a fuck about that film. Here's one I actually I've had downloaded on my Netflix for about 2 months. Is Dolomite Is My Name, which is meant to be awesome. We've got Rambo, Last Blood, which my parents are actually watching downstairs.
Okay, and that's which? That's the 5th? The 6th Rambo?
The
7th?
5th?
Okay.
I think. Do you know what? That was quite funny because when they when they announced the film,
right?
I think when they announced the film and I was watching the trailer, it was like Rambo, and I was like, I bet the subtitle was Last Blood, and it came up, and I laughed so hard. Gemini Man.
Yep, that's Ang Lee's film, right?
Yeah, which is I'd like to see it, as I've heard a lot of interesting things about it.
Okay.
Brightburn, Dark Phoenix, Terminator, Dark Fate. 1917 and Ford versus Ferrari. Those are the big ones. Oh, and Cats.
Oh, of course. We have to mention Cats at some point.
Yeah.
I hate James Corden. Let's get that on the record.
Okay.
So.
I'm very interested in watching that film. Do you know they patched that film?
Yeah, and I've also heard that some reviews are like calling it just the highest, like weirdest experience of their life. Obviously, like it's not good, but people are like actively saying go watch it because
it's so bizarre.
It's something, yeah. Which is I mean, obviously they weren't planning that.
No. I mean, like the sort of Room where it's so bizarre, strange, weird, and bad that it's actively very watchable, which is more interesting than something like, let me read off one of these films. Dark Phoenix, Terminator 6. I don't know,
Terminator 7.
Terminator 7. Oh my god, is it actually? I don't even know. Right, so let's get to the category that I call small-ish films, or films that I sort of saw that weren't exactly summer blockbusters or Oscar-nominated films.
Very
concise.
Title.
Yeah.
Is there an actor for that?
Yeah, it's... why don't we start with a film we've both seen? Let's start with High Life. Would you like to talk about that?
Yes, I saw this film a while ago, so I'm not exactly entirely sure what happened because it is a fairly abstract film, but it's a Claire Denis film, female French director. I think it's her first film in English language. Don't quote me on any of these.
Oh, okay.
I think so. It stars Robert Pattinson, who is definitely becoming one of the best male actors in the business at the moment.
Yes.
And it stars, it's kind of got 3 separate timelines, all running kind of at the same time, which is always something I kind of like, non-chronological films. And it kind of stars a guy on a ship with a baby floating through space. And it's I loved it.
Okay. I wasn't the biggest fan of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I kind of like the dystopian sort of setting in that it's essentially what prisoners launched into space to collect data because it's a very dangerous mission.
Yes, it is.
But the thing is that, I mean, I'm like, okay, I like the idea that there's 3 separate timelines that tell a linear story, if you know what I mean. But the thing that really, really threw me off that I wasn't expecting is quite how sexy film. This is a sexy film.
Yeah. I'm definitely a big fan of films that can really have not much substance, but just overload of style.
Yes. I will say that for the film. It is a stylish film.
Yeah. And I could see how some people come out of it thinking, what did I watch?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Yeah.
But I just enjoyed it. And that's at the end of the day, people can enjoy what they want.
Yep.
If they want to, like Aladdin 6, Will Smith bites back, woo-ha.
Yeehaw.
Yeah. And I just came away just having a really, really good experience.
See, I got the same experience about this as Aladdin in that it was too sexual for me. I mean, I was actually on board. I was very interested in the story. I was like, okay, like Robert Pattinson is sort of a weird, like, he's got a strange, like, criminal background, a bit of a mysterious past, and he's taking care of this child on this, like, very, like, dank version of, like, a ship that's floating through space. And then I was actually on board. I was quite enjoying it. And then the 5-minute long violent masturbation scene happened.
Yeah, I'll give you that. It's a bit long,
and it took me.
And it's fairly graphic. Watching in the cinema was.
It's just too sexy.
It was yeah. I mean, my erection didn't go down for weeks. Should we should we describe graphically what happens in that 5-minute scene? Should we just?
From what I remember, she sits on like a thing that
obviously they can't have sex.
No,
I think that's right. So to get away their kind of sexual needs, they have a basically a masturbation room.
A room. And
I think because it's set in the future, I think obviously kind of sexual norms are probably less, and a big old fuck chair is considered normal.
When you say it's a French director as a woman, it makes a lot more sense because the Doctor rapes Robert Pattinson.
Oh yeah,
I forgot about that, and I was like, "Oh, that's very uncomfortable."
Because he doesn't.
He's like celibate almost. He's like this Jesus Christ sort of character.
And she is so. Well, her reasoning is not entirely sexual. It's scientific. She wants his
she wants
sperm,
the genetics,
all the other combinations with the other male pilot space men. Aren't working. And hence the baby. Pretty much breaking down the whole film, aren't we? So
but I must give it. There is one scene in that film that made me give it a above average rating, and that was the scene that involves a black hole and a violent liquefaction. It was so wonderfully done, and it's one of the most haunting bits of imagery I've seen all year, and I've seen some fucking haunting imagery this year. I must give credit where credit's due. That was wonderful.
Yeah, for a while it was my favourite film of the year, but mainly because like we said at the top of the podcast, I hadn't seen many.
Sure, that's fine.
I'd give it probably an 8 out of 10 if I had to give it an arbitrary number. Sure. I think you'd probably say maybe 7 or 6.
A 5 or a 6, if I'm honest. I mean, I watched it all and I wasn't bored, but it may have been a bit too abstract. Whereas I was expecting more of a interesting mystery with the linear narrative, and some of the abstract imagery may have been a bit. I'm a bit confused as to what the meaning. Like, I get it, but fine. In fairness, I haven't forgotten about this film, so that's not a bad thing at all. Okay, I'll move on. I'll rattle off. I'd say about 3 more films. I'll talk quickly about because I know you haven't seen them. So the next film I watched, which is actually the most recent film I watched, was I Am Mother. It's essentially quite similar in concept in that it's a dystopian future where a child is being raised by a child's being raised in strange circumstances. In that it starts off with a robot putting in a fetus into a pod and growing a baby, and then this robot called Mother is raising this human. Lovingly and caringly, and I was thinking, okay, this is interesting. It was quite stylish. It was very cinematic in the way it's set up. The costume for the robot looked really cool, and then about halfway through, it's like you sort of get the hints of what's happened outside, and then I thought, what's the most generic plot that could have happened? And yep, that's exactly what happened. More interesting things to do with AI itself, like an interesting.
Yeah, I've heard it's got a few good messages behind it. I haven't seen it, but I don't care about spoilers. So I'm guessing either the AI is bad or she turns bad through not having proper human nurturing or something like that.
Yes. Yes to both.
Okay. I've heard it's a good kind of message for kind of nature versus nurture.
Yes.
Stuff like that.
It's very clear, the message. I like that AI isn't represented as we're going to kill all of humanity all the time, even though it kind of does, but it has a better message, like not a message, but like it's not just a killer robot. It's got higher reasoning, which is quite nice. Yeah. But honestly, the second half really let it down, and it really let down the first half. So I'll give that a 4 out of 10. Move on to Us, the sequel, not sequel, but the next film by Jordan Peele. I don't really want to say much because I don't want to spoil anything for you, but it's a really great movie. Really great acting, performance by all of the characters is great. It's a doppelganger sort of horror movie.
I know. I've seen the trailer, so I can probably briefly say what. I wouldn't want you to give any more of this way, but it did seem that they were starting to find, duplicates, doppelgangers, and it seemed like a horror. That's basically all I know. So.
Sure. It gets fucking way wilder than I thought it would do. Like, I thought the concept was like, oh, that's an interesting concept. I wonder what the weird twist is or whatever. It's like, fuck, it goes way wilder than I thought it would. And that was cool. Very exciting filmmaker. I can't wait to see anything else he does. He's very talented. I'd give that like an 8 or a 9. That's how good it was.
Oh, cool.
I'll move on to another smaller film called Paddleton. Don't know if you've heard of this. It's got I can't remember his name. It's some guy along with the bloke who plays Ray Romano.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're basically like losers who haven't got families or friends. They're just sort of neighbours who are friends with each other, and they play like a version of squash on the back of a building with each other. That's the idea. The game is called Paddleton, and it's essentially one of them gets cancer, and it's all throughout the whole process of him getting cancer, dealing with it, and then eventually dying. Which isn't. That's like, I think that's in the trailers, so it's not a spoiler. But it's because these two are so awkward with human interactions. It's not a comedy. It's a dark comedy, if you know what I mean. Like there's a scene where Ray Romano offers to pay for the euthanasia drugs, but his card gets declined. Things like that, you know. Like, it's quite funny. It's a funny situation. They handle it quite well. But it's a very, very well acted drama, and it made me cry. Genuinely, really heartfelt. I recommend that film quite a lot. Cool. It's 8 out of 10. Let's move on to a film that we've both seen now. How about Alita Battle Angel? I know that's more of a summer blockbuster, but because it came out so early.
I didn't even realise it came out this year until I sent through my list to you. I went into this with a friend who was like, "Let's go see this," and the films I've seen with this friend have often been, dumb action movies.
Sure.
And this one was like loosely based on an anime, which is usually a telltale sign that it's not going to be amazing.
Oh yeah. After Ghost in the Shell, I was thinking, okay, I know what to expect.
And even though it's not a 10 out of 10, I so want a sequel, and I know that it might not happen, and that actually saddens me because I really had good fun watching it.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I guess it's set. You go through the plot.
It's a lot. There's a lot of plot for a film that was 2 hours long. It's like this whole world that gets quite well established with, without it gives you the mystery, but it's established quite well without it's not acres and acres of like dialogue and exposition. Basically, this woman is a robot who's sort of reprogrammed, but she was like a battle robot or something. It doesn't matter. She becomes like she wants to ascend to this like higher level of like this, like the world is split between like the slums and this like for the elites and the rich people, and you can only sort of go there if you win like this like dodgeball roller derby battle thing. But that's not really the real plot. It's so much plot in this film. It's complex, but what really, even though it is quite a complex film, it has really interesting and well shot battle sequences, really great enemy and character designs, decently acted, and it is very intriguing. Like, they really do go through a lot of plot points and like world building within a small amount of time, and the action is actually it's really cool. And there was one scene where Christoph Waltz has this comically oversized prop which he has to swing around a massive hammer, and I laughed a lot.
Yeah, it could have been those type of things in these kind of anime features can either go one of two ways, which is that's dumb as fuck and I don't like it, or that's dumb as fuck, I fucking love it. And for me, it was the latter.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
But that's it. I think Robert Rodriguez and James Cameron really put their like passion into this, and like they crafted it quite well, if I'm honest, because I was thinking this is going to be a jumbled mess. I don't know what's going to go on, but somehow everything's coherent and you understand and the stakes and the characters. And
even though the main character, she's got basically like a CGI face, kind of Avatar-esque, which I know is now like 10 years old technology, but
she has the big anime eyes as well.
Big anime eyes, and sometimes that could cause uncanny valley or a kind of distance any kind of emotion to the character. But yeah, it's definitely behind her. So
yeah, I also like how completely and utterly like innocent and happy she was. She was just pure good throughout. There's no like I don't know where my past is. She's just a happy like child who happens to be like a fucking ultimate killing robot. And that was kind of it was really good. I hope there's a sequel. It did all right at the box office, but I don't think it did well enough, if I'm honest.
They actually some fans flew a banner over the Oscars presentation. I don't know if you read about this. No, saying we want a sequel.
Oh, cool.
And the directors basically come out and said, we need kind of DVD and Blu-ray sales to go up. So it might not happen.
Sure. That's a shame. I enjoyed it though.
The subject, the source material is out there, right? Because it is based on an anime. So
I guess so. I've not read or watched it, so I don't know.
No. So I guess if I really wanted to know, if they just announce that's it, it's not happening, then maybe I'm kind of intrigued enough to maybe even go and read the source material, see what happens.
Yeah, I agree.
It definitely is on a cliffhanger.
Yes.
What would be very funny is if it doesn't get the sequel, because they basically reference this kind of evil character throughout the whole film, and then the last shot is
Edward Norton.
is Edward Norton, and they've obviously just cast a big bad guy for the sequel, and it would be very, very funny. And I'm trying to think of other scenarios where they just kind of cast a big guy right at the end for the next film, and then it never happens. It's quite rare.
Yeah, they really gambled on it, didn't they?
Yeah.
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Is there a really Spider-Man film or something where they cast like I don't know? I guess Venom 2's happening, so that's.
Wait, what?
I guess Venom 2's happening, so we're gonna get Woody Harrelson in an orange wig.
Oh God, no! Please don't. Oh my word.
Yeah.
Oh, was Venom this year or was it 2018?
No, that's 2018.
Oh, what a shame! What I'd absolutely rip that film apart for an hour.
I would love to talk about that film as well, but unfortunately not. Okay, I'll move on to. I'll rattle off another 3 that I watched. I'll rattle off Glass. You know the Split sequel.
Yeah, that reminded me of Venom. I really did not like Venom, so
yeah, I can tell. Neither did I. Don't worry.
No, I'm not going to segue constantly into Venom.
Are you sure?
No, I didn't watch Glass. I've never watched any of the 2 preceding films.
I have.
Oh, okay.
Shockingly,
do tell. I will never watch it. I think
Unbreakable is unbearably awful.
Spoil it as much as possible.
Bruce Willis lifts weights for 10 minutes in a row, and that's not even a lie. He's scared of water, and then also Split is James McAvoy is an excellent actor, whilst M. Night Shyamalan is an awful writer.
Yes.
And then this film smashes them together in this sort of like what appears to be like a takedown of superhero genre, but it doesn't work. And it was fine for some of it, but then at the end, I laughed uncontrollably because they just straight up kill everyone. I don't understand M. Night Shyamalan, how he keeps making these films, honestly.
Yeah, I think... so I haven't seen it, and I don't really know what happens, but I don't care. But with a lot of films that kind of try and send a message about superheroes, often the second half or the third act of the film just becomes a superhero film.
That's exactly what happens.
Hancock, Brightburn, which I haven't seen, but I've heard is like, oh, what if this guy's evil? Oh my god! And then it just becomes a superhero film, and I just like that just defeats the whole purpose, and then makes effectively the film just shit.
Yes, that's the whole build up to the first half is like, what if you haven't got superpowers, you've just got a mental disease where you think you're a superhero? And it really does like a relatively convincing argument for like, okay, you know, some of these things can be explained this way, this way, this way. And then they just straight up in the second half just go, actually, fuck, no, obviously not. And so it's like, okay, well, that kind of neuters the whole point of the film. Yeah, but I mean, it's not boring. So give it.
Okay.
And I did laugh when they drowned Bruce Willis in a puddle.
Oh my.
Okay, Dumbo. I don't remember anything about it, so I move on.
All right. Heard bad things, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. The Dead Don't Die, which is a Jim Jarmusch film.
Yeah. What else has he done? What did he do previously?
He did the one with Adam Driver in the bus stop.
Yes, Patterson.
Yes,
that's fantastic. I have not seen this film.
It's very. I laughed a lot. It's very funny. It's basically, what if this sort of backwater town during the zombie apocalypse, with like these very strange characters that get sort of introduced and move into this place, but like, even though it's a zombie apocalypse with Bill Murray, Adam Driver, Tilda Swinton, all of these characters, nothing, even Steve Buscemi as a raging Trump supporter racist, nothing really happens, and they just talk a lot, but it's very funny, and they're so matter of fact about breaking the fourth wall, just having fun and loose dialogue scenes where clearly the script wasn't written. And then even at the end, they clearly didn't know how to end it, and so just writ this bizarre, strange ending. And I enjoyed it as an experience, but I'd find it hard to recommend it to anyone. Although my dad watched it with me and he laughed a lot, and I'm shocked because I would never have thought he would like that film.
Yeah, your dad doesn't take me for a...
No, he's not.
Yeah, let's not go there.
No. But Adam Driver and Bill Murray, wonderful in this film.
Okay, cool.
Bill Murray is just...
I would expect nothing less from the pair of them.
Yeah. I do recommend it, but you're just like, what is happening? Why is this happening? Okay, fine, but if you just sort of don't think about it, it's just enjoy the ride. It's quite good. And the zombie apocalypse thing, that's not the point of the film. It's like a backdrop for like loose like comedy, like dialogue and sort of talking.
Would you say, because obviously another zombie comedy came out in the same year, Zombieland 2. I'm guessing maybe didn't even seen it.
No,
I haven't even seen it, but would you say it's better than Zombieland 1?
Zombieland 1 has like a linear plot and stakes and characters. No, I like Zombieland 1 more. This film was fine, but it's a complete different type of film. It's not even comparable. Like, Zombieland's a straight up comedy with characters that they put effort into like developing in a lot of ways, which isn't necessarily like a slam on The Dead Don't Die, because that's not the point. But yeah, I kind of prefer like a straightforward crafted comedy than very loose. But you know, there's someone else that might love this film. You know.
Yes.
Okay. I think that's enough. I'll give that a 7 out of 10 arbitrarily.
Okay.
Move on to Hustlers, shall we? This is a film I haven't seen, and you have. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's kind of. I think it's based on a true story. It's basically set kind of just before the financial crash in 2008. At first, it follows basically strippers and from a strip club. One played by Jennifer Lopez, and she is just fucking awesome in this film.
Oh, isn't this what she was meant to be nominated for an Oscar? Everybody thought.
Oh, I mean, yeah. She was a woman. She got snubbed. But basically, throughout the obviously, their lives are going great. They take in this newbie who's the main star of the film. I don't know her name, but she's kind of like the cuter one, and then she slowly gets like kind of sexier and more confident. I think there's basically a message behind it of just like, you know, being a stripper is not entirely degrading, and you know, it can be empowering.
Sure.
And basically, because of the financial crash, strip clubs just kind of start going out of business, and they start not making enough money, and then they kind of turn to a very sadistic plan in which they try and kind of meet guys on a night out, kind of dating. Well, one of them would, and then here, when they're drunk enough, they'll slip something into their drink, basically drug the guy, then invite all of her sister friends along, which is the other strippers, and then basically get him to come to the strip club, where he then spends a fuckload of money, and they have a kind of deal with the strip club to take a percentage of however much he spends at the strip club. And because they go for like top businessmen who have probably married as well and have quite a lot to lose,
Sure.
There's never really a police report. And that's basically the premise of the film. You'll see how they can't keep doing that, and how it kind of transpires from there. But it was just a really good film, a really good cast. I was just proper gripped throughout the whole thing. Jennifer Lopez is 50 and still ridiculously hot.
Yeah. That sounds good.
It was like a female empowerment movie, but it wasn't like, oh, let's get all the female characters from our franchise and let them like look at the camera and then run to the bad guy and then have him and then just like high five. Yeah, sure. It wasn't demeaning at all. It was just a really fucking good girl power movie.
Okay, I genuinely, that sounds. I would want to watch that. I've heard I've heard good things about J-Lo's performance and everything, and I mean, that sounds like a great plot for a movie as well. To be fair, I'd be quite shocked if they didn't have like a Harvey Weinstein looking person that they sort of like, hey, fuck you, and they kick him in the face or something. I don't know, like. Yeah,
they do. There's a lot of like seedy men, and it's kind of just like at first you're on board with the whole like anything where people are kind of doing something bad,
and they're getting their comeuppance.
Yeah. You see it through the people that you're following, the protagonist's view, and you're like, well, I can see how someone would go down this route. Similar to like Breaking Bad. When he breaks the first few laws in Breaking Bad, you're still behind him before like things kind of exponentially get out of hand. In which it does in this as well. So I would recommend seeing it.
Okay.
I haven't given away entirely everything that happens there. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I genuinely would like to watch that. Okay. Cool. I think we have a couple more films for this segment, and I think I'll end it on a film we've both seen. So I'm going to go through the one last film that I've seen that I'm pretty sure you haven't seen. It's a Japanese film, and it's also related to The Dead Don't Die, in that it's a film where the zombie apocalypse isn't the main point of the film, and it happens in the background. And it's called One Cut of the Dead.
Okay.
Have you heard anything about this film?
I haven't heard anything at all.
This film is absolutely wonderful and really made me feel happy and good inside. It's really good. So the plot is, it starts off for the first, I'd say, 45 minutes it's one take of, or what is, you know, there's clearly cuts, but like one take of people filming a zombie apocalypse movie. like, you know, like a fake movie has been filmed where it's set in the zombie apocalypse, but in between takes, a real zombie apocalypse happens. But that's the first 45 minutes, and it's sort of hard cuts with, like, credits and ending and stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay. Then the real fucking part of the film starts. And it goes into the making of the making of the making of the film. Like, the whole... There's, like, loads of strange things that happen. Say, one of the characters, like... they stop and pause, and like the camera sort of swirls around a little bit, and there's music sort of goes out, and you're like, oh, that's weird that they did that. And then they do it again like 5 seconds later, and you're like, oh, why is that? And then in the second half of the film, you see they're scrambling to try and put this together because so many things have gone wrong behind the scenes and the build up for all these actors. Like, they've completely missed a whole scene, and so they've had to rewrite dialogue very hastily, and they've held up boards, and the actors are paused and reading the dialogue and trying to improvise. And it all culminates as this, because it's all about this the director of the film who's put everything together. He's like completely gone above and beyond to try and make this film work. And it's such a heartwarming love letter to enjoying making films, and about the bond between a father and his daughter who both love making films together. And it's so heartwarming at the end that, honestly, I can't sing its praises enough. I'm shocked that not many people have heard about this. It's genuinely wonderful.
How did you come about it?
Red Letter Media.
Of course.
Yeah. I did hear about a couple of other YouTube reviewers say it was quite good as well. And you know, that the lists that say the best films of the year, it was like number 44. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, never heard of this. Glad I give it a watch. It really is great. Yeah. So I would give that a 9 out of 10. Really, really
wow,
good.
Okay. That's really cool.
Yeah, I don't know what my original review of it was, but if it wasn't a 9 out of 10, then I don't know what I was talking about.
Yeah, films on you, I guess, but...
Sure. We'll move on to... So there's one film that you've seen that I haven't, and then we'll move on to the last film of this segment. Okay. So let's talk about The Laundromat.
Yeah, okay. This is probably the first one I've seen that you haven't that I would just heartily not recommend.
Oh, okay.
I watched this at a pre-screening, so I was out with... I have a friend who occasionally writes up movies for... he's freelance, but he'll occasionally write up for some magazines, and he got me a +1 to see this this film, even though it was come out on Netflix the next day, because it is a Netflix film. Mm. And I was sat there with loads of writers and just kind of like drinking loads of free beer. And honestly, everything up until the film started, I enjoyed. and I'll basically want to move on from this quickly because I can't really remember much. It's about the Panama Papers scandal, if you know much about that.
Oh, with, you know, when all the like Prime Minister and the high finances and stuff got like done for tax avoidance. Yeah, and it basically was taking inspiration from the kind of The Big Short. It had cutaways with Antonio Banderas and Gary Oldman kind of talking to camera, and they were being quite meta, and they were kind of going through the movie. And they were also playing characters in the movie, and it was like, how did we get here? And it just took inspiration from that and just never delivered. It also do the thing where, like, what wasn't it, like Margot Robbie in a bathtub or something, and that's how they explained the housing crisis or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And there was a lot like that because there needed to be kind of explanations on basically how to do tax avoidance. Mm. But I kind of came away from it thinking, were they meant to make me like them? Which obviously can't be the plot.
Sure.
I think their overall message was like, this, you know, it shouldn't be wrong that we did this. It's more wrong that this can happen. But basically, I just kind of left unimpressed and also a little bit confused. Okay. So I'd give it like a really bog standard. And no one will talk about this film in about 4 years' time.
Sure.
So I'll give it like a 3.
It sounds like it was one of those films that was trying to be an Oscar contender because it's talking about like a.
It had its like the first scene. I was like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing, and it is Gary Oldman and it's the two characters kind of talking and being quite coy with the camera and having like long continuous shots as they walked through this kind of really quite big set, and then it just didn't deliver.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know whether the general consensus online is the same. I've never actually looked up the. In fact, I never got told what the film was, or I must have met my friend. And he was like, "We're going to see this name of the film."
Okay.
It must have come up on the film as the name of the film, and then when I went through my films prior to this call, I saw the word laundromat and was like, "No, I haven't seen that." Until I saw that it starred all the people that were in this film, and I went, "Oh." So that's just an example of how little it left on me.
Sure.
But I don't want to give it too scathing a review because, it's got 42% on Rotten Tomatoes. So
oh, really? When I went through all the year's films, I didn't even notice this film in the list of films.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'll take your word for it. I mean, if I'm honest, it doesn't sound... it's got good stars in it, but it doesn't sound like a very exhilarating...
Steven Soderbergh, who's done...
Soderbergh.
Yes, that's his name. He did all the Ocean's films and...
Oh, okay.
He's got some style to him.
He's got a little bit of flair, but...
I don't know. Maybe... Yeah. I genuinely don't know what the message was. Surely it must have been...
Tax avoidance is bad? Don't do it?
But if I didn't come away with that, message in my face. So, okay. I don't know. Let's just move on because, honestly, this will be the last time I ever talk about it, for sure.
It's gone now. Okay, and to finish this first segment, let's talk about a film that you've watched quite recently that I watched. I was quite anticipating it. Speaking of another tax avoider, let's talk about El Camino.
Nice.
It is...
I love it.
A Breaking Bad film on Netflix that was directed and written by Vince Gilliam, or whatever his name is, the original creator of Breaking Bad, starring Aaron Paul, and it's essentially a sequel, or not a sequel, but like a continuation of the story, really. Yeah,
and directly after as well.
Yes,
which I'm quite pleased with.
Yes and no. Like, I feel like it taints the ending, but it doesn't. In fairness, I say that it's a really good film.
Like, I don't want to give it away, but he's driving away to his what you assume freedom, and he ends it by driving away to his room. And it was just effectively another episode. Which I can see why you'd and I agree with you where it's like, what was the point?
Yeah,
but really enjoyed it, and
that's the thing.
It just obviously it couldn't be fit at the end of Breaking Bad because the ending of Breaking Bad is perfect.
Yes,
but it's just a very good continuation. I think everything they've done when they've touched this universe, basically talking about Better Call Saul, is also fantastic. So
yeah, I've only seen like 6 episodes of Better Call Saul, and I really liked it. But Breaking Bad's obviously one of the greatest pieces of media ever produced by a human. Vince, here's the thing: is the ending is so amazing of Breaking Bad. It's so perfect. It leaves off on the two main characters in such a great ambiguous way. But then this film gives them a finite, definite ending in some ways. Yeah. Which kind of annoys me because of how good the ending was. But the problem is the film is so well shot, so well acted, so well written that I can't be annoyed because it is a really good film.
You go into it. It's very similar to how I felt with Toy Story 3. And then probably again, I haven't seen Toy Story 3 or 4, but as we'll probably touch on later, but it's very much like, why touch it? Why Toy Story 1 and 2 are so perfect? It's so long since the last one. Why go back to it? And then they've absolutely smashed it out of the park. I mean, probably not to the same standard as Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 2, like this is to Breaking Bad. It's not as good in my opinion, but it was still richly deserved on its plaudits, because it was enjoyable.
Yeah,
it was tense. It was everything Breaking Bad was.
Yeah.
I think it was. I could tell that a lot of the characters just were older. Sorry, not older. The actors, including Jesse, Aaron Paul, and
who's the bloke who plays Todd?
Yes, that's his name, Todd. They clearly had aged and put on a little bit of weight, just probably due to getting to their 40s or whatever.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, please don't be shit. But once you get past that that is the only critique I really have of it, and also why did it happen?
Yeah, that's the whole. It is that though. It's like there's a lot of like extended scenes with Jesse and Todd, who obviously, if you have any knowledge of the prior series, you know that when any tense scenes happen, you know where the characters end up and what happens to them. So that deflates a lot of the tension. But those scenes are so well shot, well written, that it adds a lot of character and nuance to how they interacted with each other, and even in some ways adds a lot of weight to the ending scenes.
Yeah, definitely how Todd and Jesse were together prior to the end of Breaking Bad. I really, really liked that addition, and I think when I go back to watch Breaking Bad for the 700th time or whatever, it will add stuff. So that's very good. I think the negative impact of this film is that people might have more confidence to touch on kind of, let's say, masterpieces that complete and do not deserve to be touched, and then they will fuck it up, because
frankly,
I can't really
think you should do that. Next name's Vince Gillingham. He's in fairness, like the stuff where it was in the future and like it's past the point of Breaking Bad where it's Jesse. It has lots of great like cameos and send-offs for some of the smaller characters who have interactions with Jesse. And the general plot is very tense, very interesting, and it's great. It really is great.
I think I'd have thought, like, I haven't watched Breaking Bad recently, but I would have thought maybe that my kind of interest in the character of Jesse might have waned even slightly. But when he was kind of still trying not to get caught by the police, because that's how, as you would assume the film would be, I was still edge of my seat, escape, because he's such a well-written character. He's such a deep down good guy.
Yes.
And even and they added to that with the amount of times he could have, gone,
basically rogue and done the bad option, but
then helped himself in the long run by getting free. He still picked the good option.
Yes.
Especially
with his family and his friends, like. Yeah, no, it's great, and this really makes me think. I cannot wait for Vince Gilligan to do films of his like standalone films away from the Breaking Bad universe. He is gonna, he will win Oscars easily. I think.
Do you know if he's planning anything?
No idea, but I'm shocked he hasn't since Breaking Bad. He's gonna blow onto the scene. I can tell you that. He's got such talent.
Yes, he does. He really does.
Well, that'll be the end of this segment where we talked about films that were small enough, little indie films that weren't exactly Oscar films, but not exactly big enough to be summer blockbusters.
What a title!
Yeah,
what a title!